Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Thanksgiving Day preview. Rather, Thanksgiving Day will be a week from because today is Friday, so it'll be less than a week. But I'm pleased to have on another Naugatuck Greyhound, Justin Ramos, who is just a monster on the line on both sides, offense and defensively. Justin, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Justin, the impact that you've made, and especially defensively, being able to get to the quarterback. You and I were just talking about the size and such of which you have. Some guys try to get to that point. You're already there, so you already have won half the battle. Um,
Mhm.
to go back to your younger years, were you always a kid that was always bigger than the other kids?
Oh yeah, for the while. I mean, when I was 5, I just felt like I was 10. Like I was always the bigger kid. I always got the job done, but like I
Mhm.
was always outstandingly oversized for Pop Warner. I mean, when I came to high school, I seen more kids my size, but football has been something I played since I was a little boy, so it wasn't nothing different.
Now, when you were growing up, because I've talked to some athletes who, even though they were big, they were still like very shy, very timid. They weren't very aggressive. Some on the other side were, and they took advantage of
Mhm.
that size. For you, did you embrace the fact that you were bigger than a lot of kids, or was it kind of like you played to the almost like to the little guys in a sense? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I've always played to the best of my potential, and I've just stayed humble and just got what I have to do done.
Now, as you progressed in your young career, did you play any other sports or was football the main one?
Football is always the main one. I mean, I played little league basketball. I played for a bunch of leagues. I mean, even to this day, I play Friday night leagues on my
Mhm.
free time during the off season. But football has always been my number one sport.
Because I know a guy who coaches at Nuggets, Coach Wilson, who would love to have a big guy be the center.
What if I told you he's my neighbor?
No, is he really?
I promise you.
Has he been trying to recruit you to come play basketball?
I mean, I play basketball with that man like every day.
Hey, I mean, they lost. I mean, Hinnett's gone, Essay's gone, practically everybody's gone. Jay Sean
Oh
Lindsay's
yeah,
gone.
everybody. The whole
Yeah,
starting five last year is gone.
they could use some help. I mean, I'm sure Wilson would love to have you.
I think he got to start at five.
But hey, that's really cool to be able to see that. At least you still, because it's good to get away from the game for a little bit. And I think Anderson
Hmm.
and Maffo, who's your head coach in DC, would agree. It's good to get away for a little bit and kind of because the burnout effect is real, dude. You
For
know.
sure.
Now, how like, and it's one of those things too. How are you able to avoid not getting burnt out from football 24/7? What do you
I
do in your
mean,
spare
in
time?
the beginning of the season, I was burnt out. I mean, we had doubles, so we had about like
Hmm.
10 to 12 practices straight. I'm talking 6 a.m. and then again at, I believe, 2,
Hmm.
3 hours each time. I mean, it was tiring, but then I started coming to reality. Like, the season's coming to an end, and I'm never going to play with these guys again. Like, I love my team. I
Hmm.
would, like, there's nothing better than my team. So, like, I kind of realized I got to just embrace every moment and, like, not just think about the aches and bruises and everything that comes with it. It's just part of the game. It's only
No.
temporary. It's only for so long. Like coach, I feel like it was just yesterday. He wrote the word 30, 30. He wrote the number 30 on the board. And we are
Mhm.
like, he's like, what does number mean? We all said Mike Beetlebomb. He said, even though this is Mike's number, this is how many days until Thanksgiving. I'm blinking now. It's what, 6 days till Thanksgiving? Like, I promise you, for like yesterday.
I know, dude, time flies. I remember doing the first game of the season,
Against
Kennedy
Gilbert.
game, and it's just crazy how it's just flown by, my guy, you know?
Hmm.
So I want to go to your freshman year because with you being a senior, you missed your sophomore year because of COVID. That the entire season was canceled. Your freshman year, I mean, I know it was under the previous coach, Coach Salazzo and his staff.
Hmm.
Just take me into your freshman year. I mean, was it kind of like an eye-opening experience? Because even though you didn't have Salazzo for a long time, he's a college guy. He knew whatever past tense, present tense, whatever. He knows football. So did
He
that kind
does.
of help you as far as your development early on?
It was an eye opener. I feel like I was in a college. I mean, I was lifting with the seniors around that time.
Mm,
It was just a different experience. Like I feel like I was a baby. Like
mhm.
dudes were pushing me around. I was like, man, I don't want to play football no more. But like it always pushed me to go harder. The seniors always look up to me. I mean, it was really fun. For the most part, he's a good coach. He taught me a lot, and I mean, it was a loss to take him, but I feel like Anderson was way better to take up on the board.
Now, you talk about the fact of at times you said you didn't want to play football. What kind of kept you from not walking away from the game? What was it?
I played for so long, why quit? Quitting just not in me. Like I might say something, but it's just it would never come to my
Mhm.
point to quit.
So your junior year, because again, sophomore year was canceled because of COVID. A lot of young guys, obviously you, Diedelbaum, obviously Bartell, who was the starting quarterback.
Hmm.
There were a lot of other players as well who were returning, but had limited experience as far as at the varsity level. Um, and then you're under now, or last year, you had Coach Anderson for the first year, Maffa as well as the DC. Talk to me about that kind of first couple weeks with him because I know he changed up some things a little bit than that Salazzo had, but he changed it up a little bit, did Anderson.
Well, when coach came, like it was kind of confusing because we didn't know who we were. We're a new team. I mean, teams have been lifting since the previous off season. Well, pretty much since their team freshman year, since 2019, and here we are. It's mid 2021, and we just got a new coach. So it's like we're confused. Are we gonna be a good team or a bad team? We haven't seen none of these kids play together, so it's more like, what are
Mhm.
we gonna be? As you know, we beat Oxford last year, then lost to Torrington, so it's kind of like a eye opener. So then we had a bye week. We changed our DNA. We became a wing T offense, and we pretty much just changed from there and progressed.
The wing T offense is so unique, I feel like, especially too if you can run it correctly, which Stone being the head quarterback, being the head guy,
Hmm.
and the rest of the team seems like it's almost like you guys could do it in your sleep. You know exactly where to go, who's pulling, who's getting the ball, obviously who's blocking. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that I've said if Diedelbaum doesn't have the ball, he's blocking 10 times out of 10. I mean, when you see
Right.
stuff like that, does that kind of guy, does that get the defense juiced up when they see their offensive guys who don't have the football doing the dirty work?
Of course, I mean, we feel like they just get the ball at a time. So when we see them doing something, especially when we hear them complain afterwards, we be like, yeah, you know how it feels. I mean, I don't play offense every game, but once in a while they have me starting up on offense, and I'm telling coach, whatever it takes to get the win, I'm there for. But I start on defense.
And speaking of coach, I want to talk about Coach Maffo, who had such a great career with Woodland, had won so many games, took him to back playoff appearances right before COVID. He's a defensive wizard. The way that he's able to schematically just confuse offenses. How much is he meant to you, man, in your growth now in year two with Maffo?
Literally everything. I feel like I didn't know football until I met this coaching staff. This coaching staff. I mean, he done taught me techniques, different things to do. He's understanding. Like he'll understand
Mhm.
mistakes happen, but you gotta do better. He's a great coach. Like everything I learned is literally from those coaches. I didn't know football. Like I feel like I didn't know no football until I became a part of their coaching staff.
What has he told you, if you could just name a couple things that you've learned from him that has really helped your growth on the line?
Um, for the most part, it's more like just keep pushing. Like he doesn't really take no for an answer or complaining. It's more like just get it done, or you're not gonna play. Like
Mhm.
if you want to play, you're gonna have to work for it. And I mean, I showed him that, and he's playing me.
Now, does he get more excited when you do, when the big guys up front, either when they get a sack or obviously a fumble or whatever the case may be? Which one does he get more hyped with?
I
Out of
think a sack for some reason.
really?
And Seymour game, I'm not sure if you were casting it, but I had a couple sacks that game, and I just feel like
Yep.
he, I mean, he felt phenomenal. I mean, we actually had a bet that I'd make a couple sacks, and his wife would make me a dinner. I'm actually still waiting on that, but I mean, I feel like when I had those sacks, like he was the happiest man in the world. You would have thought he won the lottery.
I think you had a couple sacks that game. I think you had
I
two,
did.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
I think weren't they on the same drive too? Because I remember
They
saying on the
were,
broadcast.
they
Yeah.
were, or at le't the same court. I know it was around the same time.
Yeah. Because you guys were just making Drezik so like it was like
Oh,
no
he had
matter
to
where he
pay.
went. Yeah.
He had to
It-
pay.
it- yeah. It was.
I
Yeah. He
mean, and
made
that's another thing. Back into that game, like
it.
coach was saying all week, we have a D1 quarterback coming in. He needs to be taken down. And Coach Mafo comes in, he needs to be taken down hard, hard every play.
Mhm.
And, they sent me on a couple of knifing, and I just got the job done.
Now, when he's going about showing you guys as far as preparing, for previous games, and you're basically going through the film work, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
What's that? Is he? is he doing a lot of talking, Coach Maffo, or is he? Because I know he's big into film and showing everything.
Mhm.
Or is he more so just showing you guys and you guys are kind of processing it, or is he dissecting it piece by piece?
Definitely dissecting it piece by piece. I mean, like we get game plans and he's going in depth into each play, each everything, like formations, techniques, like everything. So we're pretty prepared when the game comes. This hasn't been a time where we watched the play come along and we're confused.
I think that's gonna be huge, especially with the game next week with Ansonia. I mean, like I said, there's a lot. I mentioned this to Stone. I mentioned this to all the Ansonia players and such. There's a lot of history. You guys are looking to get back-to-back wins against them, first time since the '80s, well before you were born and I was born.
Mhm.
And then same thing for Ansonia. I mean, there's a lot of stuff as far as for them seeding in Class S, for you guys also in L. Um, do you guys realize how much is on the line, or are you trying not to think about that right now?
I definitely try not to think about it. I mean, as much as this game means a lot to me, if I play scared, like I'm gonna make mistakes. So I'm kind of looking at it like another game. Like we do a shoe burning the day before the game, and like I remember last year, one of my coach's brother had told me like, "What are you gonna be tomorrow?" And I said, "I'm gonna be a champion." He said, "No." I said, "What are you gonna be?" He said, "What are you gonna be?" I said, "I'm gonna be a legend." He said, "No, you're gonna be yourself." And I was myself, and we went out and won. So it's more like a treat like another game, but an important game because obviously there's gonna be thousands of fans there. I try
Mhm.
not to get into what's going on outside the game or like what's going on in the game.
Do you feel like that it helps that yourself, Bomb, there's a lot of key players, Navarra, like there's a lot of guys who are on this team right now that
Mhm.
were a part of the game last year, especially
Right.
with all the people that were at that game. Obviously, I think there'll be more people because of the magnitude. But do you feel like having all of those returning players who have been through that atmosphere already only benefits you guys as far as not maybe feeling the pressure as maybe a team who hasn't experienced it before?
Right. I think it definitely does help because like we already know each other, we know how each other play, we understand how important this game is. So it's more like a let's do it again type of thing. It's like don't
Mhm,
go in this game scared. They're good, we're good. It's a 5-star matchup, like coach always tells us.
mhm.
No one's gonna come out for them and make them win. It's about who wants it more, not the better team, it's who plays better. So we gotta come out, can't make no mistakes. Like they're a good team. We can't afford to make mistakes against them. Cause then they're gonna make us pay. And I don't want
That's
to lose at my house.
I don't blame you, especially when potentially it could be if you guys lose to Ansonia, it may be your last home game in Naugatuck.
Oh, yeah, because we won't get a home game first round. We lose to them. So this
Exactly,
is a
'cause you
big game
could
for us.
exactly, because I looked at Class L right now, which is what Naugatuck is in. You guys are
Hmm.
in second place. You can't drop any further than fifth because the teams below you have 3 losses, but you drop below 4, you don't have a home game. Now you gotta travel.
No, it wouldn't be a good situation. So that's not in the picture, though. I mean, we're gonna come out and
Mhm.
see what Navituk's about.
Now, since we're talking about defense, and I love defense, I feel like that's such a big component. Defense and special teams to me is huge. You could win or lose with both of those components.
Hmm.
You guys, I feel like, have a very strong, obviously, special teams is big, and then the defense we've spoken about. We know about the big guys that Ansonia has. You face some of them already. One of them is Romanowski. I'm sure you'll be facing up against him a lot. Do you when you go up against a guy like that who basically I don't know the weight and the height and all that, but you guys are pretty comparable. There's a comp there. Does that kind of get the motor going even more because you're facing somebody who is at almost the same, if not the same talent level as you?
I mean, he's a big kid. I remember last year, the first play I got in Ansonia, I remember him and Preston.
Hmm.
I mean, they didn't ran my face over. So like ever since then, like I mean, Romanowski's my boy. I've known him for a while, but it's like I really want my redemption. So it's like I'm gonna go out. I'm with him pretty much the whole game. He's always on his strength, and I'm on strength side. So it's more like I gotta show you, like, I mean, this is my game now.
Hmm.
None of that no more. I mean, we had a great offseason, and it's gonna be a big game.
And you mentioned Preston. Preston DeZabina is one of those guys as well as you said, and then Romanowski as well. You know that they like to run the hammer. I mean, I've
Mhm.
seen it a few times. They like to pitch it. Sometimes they do what you guys do. They'll do a double reverse. They'll do a handoff. They'll even pull a Caden Martin and try to go outside. Controlling the edge is going. I know Caden Martin. I mean, some of the stuff he's done, dude. It's like
That kid's phenomenal.
it's like Caden Martin just doing Caden Martin things. You
Yeah,
know.
he definitely picked up the slack after we lost Jet for a
Mhm.
couple weeks because we know what Jet can do. But He
Mhm.
picked up the slack, and I mean, we've suffered a loss, but came back stronger.
How important is it, Justin, as far as against Ansonia? And it's like this for any great teams, which you guys will be seeing from here on out,
Hmm.
especially in the playoffs. But controlling the edge, being able to force teams to kind of squeeze them to have to go to the teeth of the defense. Is Mafo preaching that as far as controlling the line of
All
scrimmage?
practice, contain, contain, contain. I mean, I don't feel like that's one of our weaknesses because I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, even teams that beat us like Holy Cross, no team has scored over 21 points on us, and that was the highest, which was Holy Cross. I
Mhm.
mean, for the most part, I think we have a pretty solid defense.
You know, the Holy Cross game to me, I felt like it was a strange game because offensively, you guys scored, I think, on every play. No, you punted a couple times, but it felt pretty even. But
But I actually,
defensively, what were you
oh,
gonna
I
say?
actually sat out that game. I had a concussion, but I mean,
Yes,
that game hurt.
yes.
That game definitely hurt. I mean, I was upset. That was my last game sitting out. I was just like,
Hmm.
I mean, that one play. I don't know if you remember when Rowan hit Jalen. That was a
Bad,
game
yeah,
changer.
yeah. It caused the fumble. It was a big time hit. I felt that from the press box. It
I
looked like
mean,
it
I
hurt.
seen that and I had instant like question about this game's question, but we're up, but it's more like it's about 6 minutes left. Like this
Yeah.
game can go left
Hmm.
ASAP, like
Hmm.
which it did.
And also, too, you got to think about it. The defense did their job. I mean, you held Holy Cross to a degree, but what hurt was the third and fourth down conversions, and then that one drive that you guys were on the field for like I know you weren't, but the defense was on the field for 10 minutes in the second
That was
quarter.
horrible. They had it for almost a whole quarter, if not a
Yeah,
whole quarter.
yeah,
We
and
heard it the next day in film. I'll tell you that.
yeah. How was that? I mean, was I'm sure Maffa wasn't very happy.
He wasn't a happy man. Um, it's just embarrassing because one thing they preach before every game is like we got to win the third down, got to
Hmm.
win the third down, got to win the third down, and
Hmm.
Holy Cross on the third down probably like 4 times that drive.
Really? Yeah, it was one of those things, but you know what? You got the bad stuff out of the way early, and then you regrouped since the season came back after the bye week, and you guys have
Right,
shown that.
right. After that bye week, I mean, we
Mhm.
worked hard. Coach was upset, but what can we do after a loss? Like we can't get that game back, so we
Correct,
only got to progress from there.
correct. Now I know there's another defensive guy who I've spoken about many times. Another big guy, Kanai Burrell. Talk to me about him
But
because he's a dude that just clogs the middle. I don't see too many people get by him.
I mean, that's a big kid. He's about like 5'10", 330. So it's like it's gonna be hard to move him just by his weight, let alone his strength. So I
Mhm.
mean, that speaks for itself.
Like when you're on the line, do you realize like the kind of talent that is around the Greyhounds? I know obviously in the secondary, I know Martin's there, I know Bomb's at linebacker. But speaking of the line, there's some big boys there, and you're one of them. Like, do you realize that's a special group that you guys have?
I mean, often I don't really think about it, but when we're at practice, coach preaches to us. Like I remember me and Carmine, 71 before the season, coach would probably bring us in the meeting room about once a week after lift and just talk to us like
Hmm.
you guys are a big key to the team, and uh, without you guys, it's gonna be hard.
Hmm.
Like I mean, we're both 6 plus, 250 plus, so like
Hmm.
athletic, we can move.
Yeah, no, Navarre, he's another one. Like again, lanky, long, but also like you said, he's got the weight and he's a big time hitter. He made some plays last year against Ansonia, I remember, if I recall,
Hmm.
especially late in the game, late in the third quarter.
Right.
So, it's one of those things you need. I've always believed in big games, obviously Ansonia being that, you need your big time players to step up. And not to put any pressure, you're going to be one of them. Can you handle that?
I mean, I'm for the challenge.
Justin, I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun. Before I let you go, I've asked, Dito Bomb this. I've asked Stone. I'll ask every player until the game. You've been a part of Naugatuck for so long now. Coming through as far as the Pop Warner system and all the way up. For you, what does it mean to be a Greyhound?
Actually means a lot to me because especially with Anderson's team that he's built. I mean,
Hmm.
he showed us what a team is. Like you gotta cherish every moment you have. You'll never play with this team again. Like every moment you have is big.
Hmm.
And making wins with this team is probably the best thing on the world for me right now. It's the only thing I care about. So I mean, if you ask me what Naugatuck football means to me, it's football.
And speaking too of the football aspect, and I mentioned this before about the history and what you guys could have, I've mentioned this to Blake, where if you guys are able to win this game, you'll be remembered for
For a long time.
years and decades. I mean, your grandkids will hear about what happened in 2022 with Naugatuck defeating Ansonia if that happens. I mean, is that something that you guys talk about in school or during practice, or is that something that maybe is just not mentioned because you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves?
Definitely don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but it's something we definitely, I personally, at least I think about. I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I think about it. I think about if
Mhm.
this game goes right, what can happen. Like my dad tells me all the time, like if you win this game, everyone's gonna know who you are. So I mean, this game means a lot to me, a lot. Especially a lot of the Ansonia, because I mean, I didn't play Pop One of them since I was little. So like
Mhm.
I know what they're capable of doing. So
A lot of respect to you. Obviously, a lot of respect to Naugatuck. And it's funny too because I've always wondered when I've been doing the Naugatuck games now for a couple years now for the radio. I'm surprised they don't do like what they used to do when Madden was alive, when he used to do the NFL games for the Thanksgiving night games. What would happen was the winning team, whoever had the best game, would get a piece of the turkey. It's too bad they don't do that still because I would love to see. Okay, who gets the turkey? Is it going to be Justin Ramos? Is it going to be Kanai? Is it going to be Navarra? Is it going to be Diedelbaum? Or is it going to be the entire Naugatuck team?
the entire Naugatuck.
Now, question is, I don't know if one turkey you may need multiple turkeys because there's a lot of big boys.
For sure.
But Justin, I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun. Hopefully, I can speak with you before the game. But if not, best of luck in the Ansonia game, and also maybe we'll see you in the playoffs in Class L.
For sure. Thank you.
No problem. That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. And remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm Returning Find Them All. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.